We really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment.
I blame myself.
So do I.
No sense worrying about it now.
The Rock of Salvation, 107.1 KOUJ LP, Norman, Oklahoma.
KOUJ 107.1 KOUJ.org. It is the Rock of Salvation hanging backstage at Stevie B. And going to the phone line, who are we speaking with?
Hey, this is Elijah Tindall. Can I make a request?
Yes, you can.
I want to hear anything Striper, please.
Anything Striper. We were just talking about Striper. They were actually here in Oklahoma a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really? Did you guys get to go?
Yeah, we were there. The station was there and stuff. It was sick. Sick.
Sweet. That's one of those bands, man. Like you can't replace any of the members. Kind of like Motley Crue, like it's just not the same. So if one of the guys is gone, it's just not the same as the whole thing together. At least in my junior high, middle school heart from back in the 80s.
Yeah, they. I don't want to break the news to you, buddy, but they replaced one of the guys.
No.
Yes, Timothy Gaines, bass player.
Really?
Yeah, but they got a really, really super cool bass player now.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. You would have to be, because they know what they're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like they know they got guys like me out there that are gonna say no. So your standards got to be so high on. All right, I'll give him a chance. I'm not gonna hate on the guy. I don't even know him. I know I love Striper, and if Striper likes him, then I'll like him too.
Yeah, they got Perry from Firehouse.
Really?
Yeah.
So, yeah. 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 All right. I'm in. I'm back in.
There we go. So how you been doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm out here living this thug life out in the West Side, man. I'm in Los Angeles, just north of LA. Actually, I live in Ventura, California. But no one who knows the LA area even cares how you guys have to say Oklahoma City to people who don't understand that Norman and Edmond and you know what I'm saying, like everything's kind of connected to them. It's just one big Oklahoma City. But I'm out here, man. I'm living the life and on the road and launching this new comedy tour. And so, man, I'm doing great. How you guys been doing out there?
Man, awesome. We just, the station's been up and going for a little while now, and we've been having a lot of fun with it and been totally rocking out and loving having listened to you on the radio too. That's pretty cool that we got our little comedy corner going on with Mr. Elijah Tindall.
How awesome is it to be associated with you guys, dude? I downloaded the app like immediately when I found out about, because here's the deal. I'm not complaining about where I live right now because I love where I live, but there is a lack, believe it or not, there is a lack of good, solid rock and roll music, like just rock and music. And so when I loaded the app, I was showing my kids, and they were like, "What?" Because they're musicians, like they're all in music and out and stuff. And so at least two of them are. And man, I'm telling you, you guys are rocking out there. I love it.
We've gotten a lot of great reviews from bands and stuff. They said, there's just no real Christian rock radio stations out there anymore. So when they found out that we started up here, we've gotten a lot of bands that's like, dude, this is what we've been needing. So we've got a lot of good response from it.
Right, and it's not even like I wouldn't even. I know actually it is categorized as a Christian station, but I'm saying if you're just a rock and roll fan, like you like rock music, dude. I mean, you guys are rocking. And there's just a lack of complete that genre anymore. I know it's out there, but you guys are definitely at the lead of that. So I like it. I love being associated with you guys.
Sweet. So, man, it's just been so long since I got to hang out with you. From a lot of people that don't know Elijah Tindall, he's out in L.A. now, or Ventura, but he's one of our local guys. He's from Oklahoma.
Yeah, man. I was my stomping ground for 12 years is Oklahoma City, and I actually started there in Edmond because when I moved there, everyone said you need to go to Edmond, and I went to Edmond. I liked Edmond, but I like downtown. You know why I like downtown Oklahoma City better than all the other parts? I'll tell you why. Because I started realizing very quickly that their tornadoes come through on a regular basis. And the only place that it seems like they never hit is downtown. And I was like, I'm living downtown. And so I got myself a historic house that looked like an old creepy haunted house on in the we call it the renovated area. Like it's in renovation. That means it's not done yet. So like it could be like, a writer lives here. Also a crackhead lives here. Like it's right. It's right in between. and I don't know which one of those. I lived in between those guys. So
It's hilarious that you said that, not about the crackhead, but about the tornado. You're right. It has hit all around Oklahoma, but it's never went downtown. It baffles me.
It's true. It's true. And so if you want to stand clear of that, which I think you should want to, then you just move downtown. It hasn't, I'm knocking on wood right here. It hasn't hit down there. And I'll tell you what, man, I love that area. I love around this time when holiday season gets going, the changes of seasons. That's something we don't have here is the changing of seasons. And so I travel enough where I still get to feel it, but my wife and my kids, they don't get to experience all the seasons. All we get is 75 and sunny every day, all day long, looking at the beach, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that.
So wait a minute here. I don't know if you're really hyping up Oklahoma or really tearing it down right now.
Well, I'm just saying, there's got to be a big reason for me to leave Oklahoma, and that was it. That was it.
Oh man, I'm so excited, Elijah. Man, like I said, we go back so long back in your early days of doing ministry and with your band, Elijah.
Yeah.
So, are we going to have an Elijah reunion band sometime soon?
I can tell you this, every time I turn on anything and it starts to get a little bit ragish, or it turns, because I hear kind of a resurgence of rapcore music, and I'm like, I used to do that. I was good at it. And I just don't know that I've got it in me anymore. Like, I've got enough energy to push out an hour's worth of storytelling and humor, but I don't know that I got that in me anymore. I've got inside, I've got it like, if you could wire my inside mind and my spirit up to a younger version of me, man, I would love to. But that I had so much fun doing that stuff, and I had these big, long dreadlocks that I grew for 5 years. And I was just telling my oldest daughter, Destiny, she's 22 now, but when we lived in Oklahoma City, I went and got my hair cut, and I had the big, long dreads. And they were like, when I say dreads, I'm not talking about like the kind you go at the boutique and get. I'm talking about like hard-earned dreadlocks where creatures live in them, and like when people come at home and they're like, there's a lice report at school, and you're like, amateur, I mean, like I had these hardcore, and they would just get thicker and thicker as time went on. Like at the root, they were just these, what started out as about probably 50 dreads, so it ended up as 3 big ones that just looked like a big clown gesture hat. And I remember coming out after 5 years, my daughter went with me, and she was probably a tween, a 10 through 12 by then, and she came with me, and I came out of where I got my hair cut, and it was just like normal hair, like normal guy hair, which is fine, but compared to the dreads, she just started crying, like she didn't even recognize me. She thought that I was like, it really was, I just lost all my strength, and ironically, then I tore down some pillars in the mall, and it was chaos.
he said I lost all control when I lost my hair.
Yep, that was it. God gave me one more big strength.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, but let's talk about your book. You got a brand new book that just come out, and let's give us some insight about this book.
Yeah, and I'll hold up the visual too, because I don't know if you guys know this. I'm live on my Facebook, which has a few thousand people on there, so we'll spread this. So they can only, at this point, they can only hear one side of this conversation, which is a lot of people. That's how they live anyway. They don't even listen to their spouse, so they just so it's okay. It's like normal life. But this book. So here's the concept. Is and I'll tell you the title in a minute. The concept is this. The Apostle Paul talks about in Romans this new version of us. It's Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And that scripture says, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so you can prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So the concept of that scripture is this, that God has a perfect will, a perfect plan for each of our lives, but what we have to do in order to realize that, to find that, is we have to transform. We have to allow our minds to transform. And the problem with that, my man, is this. The problem with us thinking we have to transform is that everyone listening right now, including you and me talking, we all perceive ourselves to be right now. Like everyone is right. I'm correct about everything that I say. But the problem with that is 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Remember when we were 17, how right we were about everything? And then over time, we started to learn, I didn't know everything at that time. Like, there was more that I needed to expand my mindset to. And that's what God is saying here. He's saying that don't be conformed to this world, but don't be like everybody else. Everybody else thinks they're right. But the only way you're going to see how God, the perfect plan for God in your life, the perfect plan God has for you in your life, is to allow yourself to start to transform by renewing your mind, starting to stretch the way you think, expand the way that you think. And so that's I call that the new you. That's the new you that Paul talks about, this new version of you. But only chapters earlier, he talks about this other version of him, the same guy. He wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. He wrote about this other version of him. He said, why is it that the thing that I hate to do, that's the thing that I do. But the thing that I don't want to do, that's the thing that or the thing that I want to do is the thing that I don't do. But the thing that I don't want to do, that's the thing I practice. So everything that I want to do, I don't do. But the things that I know I shouldn't do, I practice these things. And I think we can all relate. It's kind of that Schmeagol factor. Remember Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings? That kind of like, no, Master wants us to do it. No, Master doesn't want to do it. Like this whole two-sided thing. And in all of us, there's these two versions of us. The one is the new you, and the other version is this version that's screwing everything up, and I call that the screw you. So it's the new you versus the screw you is the name of the book. That's the title of the book, the new you versus the screw you. And what it does is it deals with 5 major mindset limitations that hold us back. And so these books that I write, they're comedic reads, they're easy reads, they're comedic reads, but at the same time they drop nuggets that will just they'll just explode on the inside of you, and you're like, oh, that's what that was talking about. So a very practical way at looking at the direction of God's Word. And the reason I do it that way is because I'm not educated enough to do it any other way, so I have to make it simple enough for myself to understand as I talk. And I find that a lot of people just kind of appreciate that approach to it. So yeah, that's it. It's on Amazon.com and everywhere, as they say, everywhere books are sold. So there it is.
But I guess the real question is, are you going to be having some of the books when you come up here at Oklahoma City for the show?
Dude, I hope so. I went to order some today. I'm just saying this. I'm sold out right now, like my own personal supply. I'm sold out, so I went to order some today for the upcoming stuff coming up, and Amazon was having an issue today. So I know that they'll resolve that issue, and I'm not worried about it because I own the book, so it's going to be fine. But so the answer is yes. I say a yes in much faith. They will be there in abundance for people to get a hold of. And I like to always say this, that all the proceeds from this book go to feed hungry children in the Los Angeles area. So you want to give into that. It's good. Well, wait a minute. Let me be more specific. When I say hungry children, my children, like specifically my children, are the ones that benefit from you purchasing this book. And when you purchase it from me live, which is what I encourage you to do, my children eat a little more than when you purchase it from Amazon.com. I'll just say that, too.
That'll work. It'd be really cool, too, because they can come to the concert, pick up a book, maybe get a signature out of it or something, and some pictures.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to coming there. That when we've discussed maybe doing something there, like probably last year, and the timing just didn't work out. Something didn't work out, and so this time when I was like, man, we're kicking off the comedy tour. Where would be a good place to kick off the comedy tour? And then we're just looking at the kind of you know how the Facebooks and all the stuff has your analytics and where you have the most followers and stuff. And Oklahoma City is I've just got a lot of friends and followers from Oklahoma City area. And so, man, I was just like, dude, it would be so awesome if we can kick it off in the Oklahoma City region, in that area. And so when I reached out, this was behind the scenes, because it is called behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, but I reached out and said, hey, man, do you guys know of a building? And we will sponsor the building, the microphone, and the seats. You guys just bring. And I was so like, yes. And so you guys are sponsoring it. It's Allied Productions. It's just, it's coming together so beautifully, and I'm excited because I'm going to get to see just old faces. Well, I'm not going to call them old faces. They're
definitely old faces.
Hey, isn't it scary whenever you go to someone's street, like, you're like, oh man, I forgot about that person, and you kind of look them up on Facebook, and they're your same age, and then you say, like, that can't be their picture. And then so we assume about ourselves that we don't have that same kind, like, we don't conjure that same reaction from other people. Like, for whatever reason in ourselves, we're just like, yeah, I pretty much look the same, but everyone else is like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
I usually get, dude, where's the mullet? I'm like, dude, I haven't had that.
Hey, let me tell you something about the mullet, man. I was at an event just this last week, and this kid, he was probably, I'm going to say his 7th grade, and he was a cool kid. You could tell that he was a cool kid. But he had the old school, not just the haircut, he had the perm in the back mullet.
That's the one you got to have, the Billy Cyrus.
Yes. Dude, he had it, and this kid was in, like, middle school, and so it's not like you can accidentally get the cut. Like, I can see that happening. You can't accidentally get the perm. There's no way you can accidentally get the perm. You're getting that thing on purpose. Like, your mom is having to make an appointment to get that at 7th grade.
That is too cool.
Yeah.
You know what I tell everybody? I was like, Elijah Tindall, he's a comedian and stuff. I said, one of the most wild things about it is, I said, the dude looks like Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue. I was like, he's all tatted, sleeved out, and used to have the big hair and everything. And
yeah.
And I was like, so when I would like try to explain, I said, well, just kind of picture Nikki Sixx, Shout the Devil era. So, I was like, that's pretty much Elijah Tindall back then, So
like if Nikki Sixx and Captain Jack Sparrow had a baby, that's
there you go.
That's
Elijah Tindall. So, but with that look and all, I know around here, because we've known you for so many years and the churches and stuff. But how is it that, like, when you're out on the road, people that don't know you and stuff, are you still getting the same looks as back in the day when we first started doing this stuff?
Yeah. Well, okay, so it depends. Like, during the journey to where I'm going, the answer is yes. But what I found is that people don't invite me to come and speak or do comedy at their places without knowing me already. You know what I'm saying? So I go to a lot of places. Like, God's blessed me in such a way where I'm just fortunate to be able to make a livelihood doing this and sharing my thoughts. There's two things I do. I do comedy and I do ministry, and they're linked together. Comedy, what I found after decades of doing ministry, when I merged into, I felt God's place on my heart. I want you to be an influence in the entertainment industry and stop complaining about everything that the entertainment industry provides for this culture. Because I was a youth pastor back there in Oklahoma City. I was a youth pastor, and I got into this thing where I started kind of like angrily just complaining about everything the entertainers would do, because it would have an effect, almost an immediate effect on my young people in the group. And so God finally, one day, he was like, Elijah, shut up, dude. You don't even pray for these people. These are my children, and this is your brothers and your sisters. They just need to be brought back to me, but they're never going to be if you guys keep complaining and just criticizing everything they do. You need to be an